Folks, there is a parental bill of rights. The ACLJ and ACLJ Action have been involved in crafting this on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. With House Republicans and the Republican Study Committee. We have endorsed this piece of legislation as well. Today, it is going through the amendment process. We're going to walk you through exactly what the Parental Bill of Rights Act is. Let me just read the heading from the committee. It's that parents have a God-given right to make decisions for their children. And unfortunately, many school districts, and Lord knows we've seen this, have been ignoring the wishes of parents while special interest groups try to criminalize free speech and intimidate parents from even showing up at school board meetings. The list of rights makes clear to parents what their rights are and clear to the schools about what their duties are to the parents who really, at the end of the day, these schools, including public schools, work for the parents, the taxpayers. If you're on the ACLJ action list, you got an email today asking you to write your members of Congress, your 2 U.S. senators and your member of Congress. You know, we have that special tool on ACLJ action that, again, you just put your information in. It knows who your 2 U.S. senators are, who your congressman is. We have a pre-drafted letter. We always encourage you to add a couple sentences of your own or delete it all and write your own letter.
We have been fighting for parental rights. I can't even count the number of school boards I have appeared before over the last 35, 40 years. So this idea that we're fighting for parental rights is not new. What Jordan's talking about, though, is very important. Parental rights have been viewed by the federal government as almost as if they're domestic terrorists. Remember that whole issue. And at the school board meetings just about a year ago. So the reality is what Congress is doing, they're implementing an ability to put forward a plan that protects parents' involvement with their kids' education and what's going on in their schools.
Parents have the right to know what their children are being taught. Can you believe that we are having to fight this?
We have been fighting that, though.
And I want to tell you how this works. The federal government, because some of you may say, well, what role do they have in my state public schools? They get a lot of money from the federal government through Department of Education and grants. Guess where that money emanates from? The House of Representatives. So they have a direct role then in instructing exactly how, if they want to keep getting those federal funds, they must operate. School districts must post curriculum information publicly. Now, when you're in college, they do that so you can choose which classes you want to take. States must provide the public a copy of any revisions to the state's academic standards or learning benchmarks. Parents must be giving timely notice of any school plans to eliminate gifted and talented programs. Remember that mess out of Virginia where students who were not of a specific minority group, but another minority group weren't given the same ability to engage in gifted and talented programs. Schools must provide parents with a list of books and reading materials available at the school library. Again, most of this is if the parent, now this takes parent action and parent engagement.
Yes, parents still have to be. This is not you don't have to do anything. This just says you have the right to do these things, which is important. But I'm going to say something else here that I think is equally important, Jordan, and that is understand the context and the history. We've been fighting for this for 40 years. Like I said, I've been in more school board hearings than I can count. But this legislation will be the first time we've codified in federal law.
Parents have the right to be heard. Teachers must offer 2 in-person meetings with parents each year. Parents must be allowed to address the school board on issues impacting the education of children in the school district. Educators and policymakers must respect the First Amendment rights of parents as well as their right to assemble and have a say in their child's education. And this is because the FBI and local law enforcement were dragging parents out for getting into a back and forth with adults.
The problem is this. There became this view within the academy that somehow parents had no role in this. It was the idea that, well, now they're the government's children for that period of the day, which is, by the way, not supported by law.
We want people to engage at acljaction.org. Get that letter writing. It's very easy on ACLJ Action because we by putting in your address, we pull up your 2 U.S. senators, and in this case, your House member. We have the subject line ready for you. It's support H.R. 5, the Parents' Bill of Rights. We have the message for you. We always encourage you add some of your own or take all of our data and write your own letter, but you can do it very, very quickly, and this gets specifically to the people who need to see it.